and the real spiel. Take my glasses off for this, because this is a serious conversation right here. We have entered into the beginning and the end of the wars to end all wars. Netanyahu's war. The war on Iran. The war that Israel is having with Iran, but it's really the war that Netanyahu is having with Iran. This is Netanyahu's war. And just to be very clear, Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel, has launched numerous attacks on Iran, attacking nuclear bases. Like, tell me that you're stupid. Let's go blow up nuclear bases in a nuclear country, because we're afraid that they have nukes. So we're going to go blow up their nuclear bases. I have never seen the world in a stupider state. I've never seen the world dumber than the world is currently. I sometimes I look at this next generation, I'm like, I'm terrified for what these guys are going to do. But you know what? This current regime of world leaders are some of the stupidest people that we've ever. Dangerous people in dangerous positions, and none more dangerous than this fella here, Benjamin Netanyahu. Nobody's more dangerous than this guy. There's two kind of dangerous people. There's the guy who's holding the gun, and then there's the guy who controls the guy that's holding the gun. There's the guy that's holding the gun, and there's the guy that controls the guy that's holding the gun. And Benjamin Netanyahu, he is in warlord, warmonger heaven, because his new bestie, Donald Trump, the #1 arms dealer in the world, that's what the President of the United States really is. He shouldn't even have the title of president. He's an arms dealer. That's his bestie. And him and Donald have decided that they are going to make sure that Iran does not have nuclear weapons. And that's where Donald started his conversation. Iran, they can't have any nuclear weapons. However, we're going to make a great deal. Like, Iran's like, what? Like, get out of here. We're like, Iran canceled their talks with him. I mean, when you lead with that, it's very clear what the agenda is. You cannot have nuclear weapons. We will do everything in our power to make sure you do not have nuclear weapons, even through our proxy, the Zionist agenda. That's what, when we talk about this stuff, we shouldn't even use the word Israel. We should say the Zionist agenda. Netanyahu is not Israel. Zionism is not Israel. Zionism is terrorism. It's worldwide terrorism. And this is why this is not simply, even though I said that at the beginning with tongue in cheek, this is not simply a war between Iran and the Zionist agenda. The Zionist agenda is worldwide. It's in America, it's in France, it's in Germany. It's a worldwide agenda. And so the Zionist agenda versus Iran is a world war. It's a world war. The same way that Donald Trump was discussing Pakistan and India, and how he stopped the war there. He's going to try to position himself as the maker of the deal with this situation, but there's no deal to be struck. Iran already has nuclear weapons. They're not going to give them away. They're not going to dismantle their nuclear program for anyone. They don't have to. They're a sovereign nation. Israel has nuclear weapons under the guise of, well, we have to have them because we have so many enemies. But our enemies aren't allowed to have them. The enemies that do not have nuclear weapons, they're dangerous to us. But we're allowed to have nuclear weapons against our enemies. That's the Zionist agenda. Again, I got to start programming my mouth not to use the word Israel when I talk about Netanyahu's regime, and the regime now joined by AIPAC and the American lobbyist movements, including the arms dealer in the White House. I got to be very clear that I'm speaking very clear at who these people are. And so you now have launched, Netanyahu, strikes against Iran, a sovereign nation, and now you're getting it back in droves. This is not Hamas. It's not Hamas. Iran struck back, and there's like we're not just going to target random places. We're going to target Tel Aviv. And so they're blowing up Tel Aviv. And your Iron Dome, well, I guess it's not catching everything like it was catching stuff before. But guess what? This is my opinion, and my opinion alone. I believe Netanyahu is going to sacrifice the city of Tel Aviv to ensure a perpetual assistance from the U.S. and from the world to allow him to continue his warmongering against Iran. And Tel Aviv is going to burn. And I'm talking to anybody in Tel Aviv. Get out of that city. First of all, it's the biggest target for the Arab world, the biggest target for those defending themselves in Iran. It's the biggest target for everybody who wants to strike against Zionism, because Tel Aviv is one of the most atheistic cities in the world. It has nothing to do with that. There's no religious aspect of that city. There's no religious quality of that city in respect to Abrahamic faith. It's just the headquarters of Zionism, and that's why they're targeting it, and that's why Netanyahu is going to allow it to be burned. He's not a fool. He's not a fool. He's not a fool. He's going to allow it to be burned. He's stupid, but he's not a fool. He's going to allow it to be burnt, and because he can look and point forever and say, look what they've done to us. Look what they've done. Look at these poor children that are dying. Look at our buildings and our infrastructures. This is an example of why we must have more and more, and we must destroy our enemies. Look what he said about this particular war, and he's calling it Rising Lion. He said this war will not stop until we have dismantled, etc., their nuclear capacity. He wants to make sure that there is no longer a place called Iran. You watch and see. Watch and see. He's gone after nuclear targets. Iran came after residential. He's gone after national leaders. He's gone after private citizens. Assassins. That's what they are. They're assassins. They've gone and assassinated the leaders of other countries, assassinated the great minds of other countries. What does this sound like? Does this sound like Israel of the Bible? Does it sound like them? No, it doesn't. It doesn't sound like them at all. It sounds like the Assyrian conquest. It sounds like even the Romans didn't do this. Even the Romans didn't go out there and try to assassinate all your leaders. Kill civilians in their beds. That's his agenda. Kill them in their sleep. They also targeted Dimona. I haven't heard anything about targeting Dimona. I don't think Dimona is a target. I don't know. I'm not in Dimona though. I haven't heard that. I've heard that the targets are mostly Tel Aviv. And all the Dimona saints that are living in Tel Aviv need to go back to Dimona. My understanding is that Dimona has never been a target. I've understood that when and good morning to Dr. David Israel and all the saints in in Dimona, my Hebrew linguist, to Asriel Moore. I was supposed to do a show with Asriel, but he is in Tel Aviv. His internet was not stable enough after all the attacks. These guys need to go back to Dimona right now. They need to go back and chill. They need to get the heck out of Tel Aviv. I'm saying this clearly. Don't stay in Tel Aviv. They will not catch all of the so-called missiles coming out of Iran, because the so-called their iron grid, that thing's gonna get turned off the same way it was turned off October 7th. Okay? That thing works at the discretion of Netanyahu and the Zionist agenda. And it's not a time to be an activist if you're a black Hebrew. It's not a time for being no big activist there either, because these people are assassins. That's really what they are. And they're going to annihilate any anti-Zionist propaganda that's in their nation. This is the time for them to come and cut your throat in your sleep. These are the people you're dealing with. You're dealing with the Sanhedrin that wanted to kill Jesus. You're dealing with Herod's people, Esau's people. You're not dealing with real people of the book here. People show you who they are. This type of behavior has always been a colonizer behavior. This is Europe. Got Europe's fingerprints all over it. Destabilization, intelligence, assassination, toppling of governments, propaganda to initiate war machines, everything that you can say about the European colonizing, destructive, apartheid behavior. This is what this is. This is very clear. This is right out of their rule book. It's in your face. They're not hiding it. Stop trying to pretend like these people are the people of the book. You will be disrespecting thousands of years of legacy to try to acquaint the Zionist agenda with the ancient people and stories and antiquity of the Israelites of the Bible. These are not those people on that war. This is a Zionist agenda led by Netanyahu, his adopted name, the Polish European warmonger, the Tsar of Canaan. That's what I'll call him, the Canaanite Tsar. But I can't give him. I can't even assign him that. I can't even assign him to say that this man is. I guess he calls himself an Israeli, but it's too disgusting. And of course, Iran is striking back, and Iran's approach is very measured. We're defending ourselves. We will continue to defend ourselves, they're saying, and until Israel stops attacking us. And they understand the power of this Zionist media, and so they're making sure they measure their words. They don't say anything radical, because the world is ready to look and say, "Oh, aren't these the people that are supposed to be the bad guys? How come the bad guys don't sound like bad guys?" Well, you go into any schoolyard brawl. Who punched you first? Well, he hit me first, not to defend myself. And then he jumped on me and he told this guy to come help him too. This guy named Donald to come help him, and I had to defend myself. So I punched him in the throat. That's right. Tried to jag his eyes out. Yeah, because I have to defend myself. Period. And it's a shame for the people who are innocent sitting in the nation of Israel right now. And this is why all these protests to get this man out of here this is why. An unprovoked attack against a sovereign nation saying, "Oh, we have information that they're getting very close to developing their nuclear weapons." And then the arbitrariness of Trump to say, "Oh, Iran can't have nuclear weapons." What? Like, it's crazy. It's crazy to me. It's crazy to me. This is going to be very interesting. All of the trade conversations revolve around this. The Saudis are going to be in a very peculiar place, because Saudi Arabia, of course, they're like a lobbyist group. They support everybody. They want to be everybody's friend, right? Except for Israel. But they support everybody. And now they're going to be definitely funneling money to Iran. If you thought Hezbollah was Hezbollah, then the money that's going to flow in to all of the proxies, because Iran, China, Russia, those people are all allies. North Korea. But they're going to have to do it with actors, people that don't look like they're from their regime. So all of these proxy organizations, billions of dollars are going to be thrown into them to support Iran from all of these various scenarios. I mean, I know right now Russia has got their hands full producing weapons for themselves, dealing with all of the weapons coming from all over the world to deal with Ukraine. But anyone else who's a weapons producer, North Korea, and I hear he's revving it up, because that would be a very good business for him, the president of North Korea, to start producing weapons at a epic level. He has the capacity to do that. That might be the next place everybody has to go. Kim Jong-un, I believe his name is. So we can't sit around and think that this gentleman's inclination to blow up sovereign nations is going to stop at just what we listened to in the 80s as a scuffle amongst Middle Eastern powers. This is completely not that. There's never been anything like this. You tell me another nation in the world's history that is a nuclear nation that is trying to blow up another nation's nuclear sites, nuclear armory. Tell me when that has ever happened. Tell me when this has ever happened. Israel would never have been bold enough, never have been developed enough to think that they could take on Iran in a head-to-head conflict. Hamas and Gaza was their experiment. Are we ready to put this machine to work? And now the IDF, all of the other external actors who are going to be paid crazy money to go fight for Israel. It's a good time to be a soldier. It's a great time to be the head of a militia. It's a fantastic season for that. These guys are going to be making millions of dollars a month going over there. Because when boots get hit on the ground, America's priming up for boots on the ground. But before August, Trump will dispatch at least 100,000 troops. He's already got a major aircraft carrier over there. I think he's already got 40,000 troops over there. America is gonna dispatch easily another 100,000 troops to so-called stabilize the region. Right? That's what it's going to be called. To stabilize the region and to assist with his allies. All that means that America has joined the war full force against Iran. And boots on the ground are going to be in Iran very, very soon. Okay? And they're going to run through Iran in an epic way. So Iran, they better lead with force now and keep these guys in their place, because they're saying, oh, if you hit any American Air Force bases, we're gonna hit you with the full force. So you put Air Force bases, military bases rather, in Israel, scatter them in Israel, and then these targeted attacks at Israel, if they manage to hit an American military base in Israel, America will say that's an act of war against us. And here we come. That's what it is. If a stone lands anywhere near some joint American-Israeli military base, if a leaf falls out of the tree, they'll say, we're being attacked. You see the lies that come from these people. The general who who was coming out of Burkina Faso lying, they will tell any lies they have to join that war. They can't wait to get into that war. Trump can't wait to make the Middle East Qatar, America's Qatar. He can't wait. See, this man he's an empire builder. He wants to take over Greenland. He wants Canada to be the 51st state. He wants the Panama Canal. He wants an oasis in Gaza and make it a Riviera. And he wants Iran too. He wants all Iran's gold. All Iran's, their gold is their oil. Right. All their technology. Well, they kill all the scientists, so I guess they don't need that. He wants all of that. And they're going to acquire it. They're going to acquire it. They really are. They're going to take that stuff over. And they're going to say, yep, all of this is now Israel. All of this is now Israel and America. It's going to rename it. I'm telling you. And this is not going to take long, folks. For this thing to get hot, it's not going to take long. Everything I've ever said to you guys about this thing since October 7th, every single thing has come true. Every single thing. And if you think it's not, you guys sit there in Tel Aviv and think that you're not going to get your heads blown off in Tel Aviv. Do not stay in Tel Aviv, because Israel has bitten off a big piece of this beer called Iran, and Iran is going to blow up Tel Aviv. They're going to blast Tel Aviv until Tel Aviv does not. They've been waiting. They knew it was coming. And so they've been waiting. They're going to blast you guys. And you don't realize what they've had sitting there waiting for you for years. And if you think nuclear weapons are not an option, you're mistaken. Because Israel's not very big. Okay? Smaller than the state of New Jersey. It's not very big. So to blow that area off the map is not a lot. So it won't take much to do it. And so they're out there firing, not realizing these guys can literally light them up right now. And once they lit them up, they're done. There's no war to be had. America's not going to join in when the place is a ghost town. Right? So if Iran is smart, strike hard, early. Hard. Slap them around early. Leave nothing there to fight you back. If they're smart, you hit them hard and you hit them early, because it's not a very big place. And but if they sit around and wait for Trump to join in, he's going to join in. America will be at war with Iran by the summer, by the bloom of the summer. Before autumn leaves are falling down, America is going to be waist deep in that situation. And because they want to be, not being dragged into it. You can know they're not being dragged into it. They want to be there. The only reason Netanyahu is actually trying to blow up these nuclear bases is because he got Trump's go-ahead. Right? Start blowing them up. We'll back you up. Start blowing them up. When it gets really bad, we'll send some troops for you. And in the meantime, we'll talk about making a deal, and the deal's going to be all in our favor. Like, this is a very simple playbook. It doesn't take anybody any level of real intelligence to see what's happening here. You just need it. It's not like before where we had to listen to ABC and Ted Koppel and and 60 minutes. We don't have to listen to that anymore. We can go on YouTube and figure it out for ourselves. It's we can see news for ourselves. All this is nothing that we have to interpret. It's extremely easy. These folks are going for bear, and they're going quick. And then watch when France steps in, the so-called peacekeeper, the number 2 arms dealer in the world. All right? All that's happening right now is where you want to buy your weapons. America's in, we're in too. What do you want? What do you need? Tell us what you want. Right? Not that Israel doesn't have an incredible stockpile, but the amount of weapons, the amount of missiles that are going to be attacked and thrown at those people, and the amount of planes, and the amount of fuel, and the amount of technology that's being spent, I would say billions of dollars probably a second are being spent over there. A second. Billions a second. Not a day. Second. The incredible armory it takes. One plane's $1 billion. A missile is like $1 billion. Like, these things are expensive. This is expensive war. These smart technologies that are finding people, blowing them up, blowing up specific areas. This is expensive warfare. The American and start watching these American military stocks and see how they're going to be rising. Yeah, the gas price is going to be incredible. I hope you guys have horses and donkeys, because the gas price is going to be nuts. But anyways, let's keep watching. This is Del K. Brereton. I really want to say get out of Tel Aviv. Tel Aviv is going to be on fire fast. It's already getting knocked down the first few days. You watch and see. Tel Aviv's going to be a ghost town, and Netanyahu will sacrifice it for the sake of his narrative. God bless you. We'll talk soon. Shalom.